Hello and welcome to Profiles of Inverclyde People by Carspun Publishing. Today we are looking at Lady Patricia Jellicoe, 1917 to 2012. Patricia O'Kane was the daughter of Greenock-born Jeremiah Charles O'Kane and his wife Hannah. His father had been a butter and egg merchant in Greenock, originally from Ireland. This photo is 48 Shaw Street in 1917. They had the house, the O'Kanes had the house at 51 Shaw Street. So they weren't particularly well off, I don't think. At one point, he and his wife moved to Shanghai via Canada to take up an appointment as an engineer with the Shanghai Power Company. In some records, he is shown as being Canadian, but he was definitely born in Greenock. As is spoken of elsewhere, Shanghai was a popular place for people to go and find work, especially from Greenock and the area. Patricia, their daughter, was born here in 1917, and she would later add a little bit of family intrigue by saying that one never asked why someone had come to Shanghai. It was assumed that everyone had something to hide. The people, as I said, there was a lot of people from Greenock in Shanghai, and this is a list of those who sent money back to Greenock in 1941 after the Blitz of the 6th and 7th of May. J.C. O'Kane was listed as one of the subscribers to the Shanghai Greenocking Club, or society almost. Now, it was understood that when the Japanese invaded in 1937 that Jeremiah O'Kane stayed, or was forced to stay in his position. Others say that he and his wife were interned, but I believe that he did in fact continue to work under the Japanese. This image shows the Scottish Shanghai Volunteer Force. Now, Patricia was educated at the Sacré-Cœur Convent School in Shanghai, and then went to a German finishing school, or like a secondary school or a further education school, and I presume for secretarial duties, etc. Before 1937, she was posted in Beirut with the embassy there, and this is a photo of the house used by the British Embassy, which was initiated in 1942. While working here in Beirut, she met a gentleman called George Jellicoe, who was the son of the World War I Admiral John Jellicoe. George Jellicoe was a kind of wartime hero, a all-around action man, and he'd been part of the SAS and SBS, and he fought in clandestine operations in Greece and elsewhere. And you can see by the covers of these two books exactly, how he was thought of. Now, the couple met, as I said, in Beirut and married in March 1944. Their daughter was born in December 1944. Their wedding was reported back in Greenock by the Telegraph. And as you can see, Jellicoe Kane at the Garrison Chapel, Beirut, Syria, on March 25th, 1944. Earl Jellicoe, only son of late Admiral of the Fleet Earl Jellicoe, to Patricia Christine. And again, wartime romance. War hero marries local girl. Although born in Shanghai, her father was from Greenock, so we're taking her as Greenockian. And of course, this is the scene later in 1955 of her with her 4 children in the Tatler magazine. She fulfilled George Jellicoe fulfilled ambassadorial roles after the war, and Patricia, or Lady Patricia, as she was known, sometimes also as Lady Patsy, lived in Belgravia, and she lived the life of a society wife, opening fetes or raising funds for various good causes. Unfortunately, by 1956, they had been suing for divorce, but because she was a Catholic, she didn't follow this through until 1966 when it was official. After this, she took up her hobby and interest in writing and lecturing on the Middle and Far Eastern art and garden history. As you can see, giving lectures on Oriental fantasies and chinoiserie as a collection in her Belgravia house. An interesting article on the right where she meets Cliff Richard. And I think this is in 1957-58, around the time of George Jellicoe's affair. So she seems to have been putting herself into the spotlight, I think. It might have been a way to embarrass him, or, just to point out his behaviour. Patsy was well known for her caustic wit. Her asides were historical showstoppers, apparently. Said, if I told George once, I told him 100 times, you're not having that Donald McLean stay under my roof. Of course, we didn't know at that time that he was a Soviet spy. And again, once in New York, waiting to cross the street to the Met, some stranger began yammering at me, and I worked out that he was offended by my fox stole, the kind with the forked head on it. He was some kind of animal rights enthusiast. I picked up the head like a puppet and barked at him repeatedly. Bow, wow, wow. His eyes widened and he scampered away in fright. Good riddance, if you ask me. Lady Patricia Jellicoe died in 2012, aged 95. A less well-known daughter of Greenock. Thank you for listening. Until next time. Goodbye.